I too want to echo Rabbi Shafran's thanks to the organizers, and particularly to you, Gila, for your persistence. Thank you. It's because of you that I'm here. And I want to say that much of what I was going to say has already been said, although not by everybody, of course. And therefore, I'm going to leave out many of my comments at the risk of perhaps being too short and too brief, but no one ever complained that the rabbi was too short. And therefore, I'm going to really focus on the third and the fourth questions that were put to us in terms of how we want to prepare. I do want to make one particular point, and that is we cannot underestimate the importance in its own right and in terms of perception of ethical behavior on the part of any and every single Jew. This is central to our Torah. There is cut on the Torah in the fullest sense of the word. Leis man lepalel. There is not a single person in this room who could disagree with that statement in the sense that we are placed in this world as the children of Abraham Avinu, as we know the Pasuk so well, to bring tzedek and mishpat into this world, to reflect it existentially, 24/7, 365. And anything which diminishes that message and that calling is a shame, not just in terms of how it's perceived, but in terms of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. And indeed, even the arch rationalist, the Rabbi, concludes the Moreh Nevuchim, for those who are into philosophical matters, where he says the ultimate goal and purpose of intellectual perfection is ethical behavior. We dare never forget that at our own risk. But let me go to points 3 and 4, if I may. The question that was posed to us panelists was, on a practical level, how will kosher agencies supervise their agencies, their corporations, where they are present? We at the RCA are currently, together with our partners at the Orthodox Union, formulating specific Jewish principles, ethical guidelines to be implemented across the board, not just in the kosher business industry, but beginning with the kosher business industry, because indeed that is where rabbis are found and rabbinic organizations are partnering. And in so doing, we find it and consider it to be mandatory, and we're working with other agencies besides the OU, other kosher agencies besides the OU, to put into their contracts with those businesses that there are specific expectations as to how they are to treat their workers, how they are to deal with their environmental issues, how they are to consider issues of tzar b'al-chai. These must become part and parcel of what the kosher agencies expect of those over whom they have supervision. However, and it's a big however, we delude ourselves and we mislead the public if we think that the agencies themselves can in any way be responsible for enforcing, in the sense of monitoring, investigating, and coming up with reliable findings of the thousands upon thousands of kosher producing businesses that are found in every state of the Union and in 80 countries around the world. It's simply beyond what anyone can reasonably expect. I know when we at the RCA have to investigate a single case of a single rabbi, we can spend years, and that's relatively simple. How are the rabbis going to investigate thousands of organizations, businesses, and any allegation made by one of hundreds of thousands of employees who may be working there? It is simply beyond what can be realistically expected. But, having said that, having left that investigation and enforcement to governmental authorities, or whatever other triggers there may be, certainly we would want and expect that a kosher agency should not be, in the words of the Talmud, mitchaber larasha. If such allegations are found to have been proven, then indeed the agency, the kosher agency, should either disassociate or put in place certain specific penalties or steps that will be taken depending on what exactly has been found and demonstrated and documented, and in that way for them to take a moral position in light of what will have thus come to light. I want to deal finally with the question of how, and this is the question, how would our community, particularly college students and consumers, respond to scandals and such? The first principle I would say is Geshot Atzmacha. Instead of pointing one's finger at others, to take that opportunity to look inside oneself. We know very well the Ma'amrei Chazal and the Hasidic stories of Gedolim who said, I started out thinking I was going to change the world, and I ended up trying to change myself. I believe that if each of us in our own way, rabbis, laymen, adults, children, men, women, irrespective, will in our own lives strive, in light of whatever it is that is coming out there, to be more ethical, to practice more sensitivity towards other people, that would be the first and primary response to a scandal such as the one that we have been hearing about. But beyond that, indeed, every individual has the right, if not the responsibility, to take personal action in the private realm, up to and possibly including not being part of, or not purchasing, and not supporting such businesses, even though one feels that this may not have been proven. That is one's right. One can say, I don't have to support it until such time as the allegations are proven to be true. I will not mix in, I will step aside. But in so doing, one also has to confront the very real question of what are the larger ramifications of boycott, of bringing about the demise of what might in the end be an innocent party. One has to consider the societal impact. One has to consider the larger picture, not just to respond at the gut level and say, I am going to do this, consequences be damned, or someone once said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And so, I believe in complex situations like this, we have to act with due consideration. We have to consider all of the consequences. We have always to put the ethical and the moral at the top of our agenda, but to do so in a way which brings about rather than defeats the goals that we need to achieve, all of us together, Orthodox, conservative, reform, whatever. We're all in this together, and God willing, we'll all come out as well. Thank you very much.